Pagkasalan ahito ayo hai sana pagile iye kiayo hai emita kayo wanikta sale
Um, I'm not going to say anything today. I'll say something tomorrow. I'm talking to the elders here. I want to hear what's going on. I know what's going on. I knew what was going on all my life to our people. I traveled everywhere. I spoke for our people all my life. But I want you to hear the story of my brother from the Dakotas, from Canada. He's from the reserve up there. I want him to tell the story of his people, what his family and them are going through. He, with help of his friend's sons, started this TV show called White Eagle Speaks. He started that to help all the peoples here on Turtle Island and up there. Mio. Hyoto. Speak on behalf of yourself.
Hi, my name is Neil Chasky. I'm originally from Sioux Valley Dakota Nation up in Manitoba. And it's an honor to be here, to be asked by Tim and David, and to listen to everyone. And what, we traveled out here from Vermont. Live in Vermont now I've been living in Vermont for 4 years. And what we're doing is bringing out stories, true stories, real stories, honest stories, making people aware what's happening out there, and what I heard today was phenomenal. I loved it. This is what people need to hear, and about uniting together, like the two gentlemen from Montana, and it's and that's what and from Sioux Valley, the Dakota people up there, same thing, basically happening up there. I hear a lot of things going on up there. Messages get past me. This is happening. This is happening. Just a lot of turmoil. And what we're doing, Nancy and I, with White Eagle Speaks TV, is to bring out those issues, and see how we can all come together, and unite, that's the question, right? How are we going to unite? How is this going to work? But we have the solution, it's in all of us. But yeah, I'm honored, and with Nancy, we're both honored and pleasure to be here. So, Tim, thank you. David, thank you. Thank you very much. And we'll get, we'll work with you however best we can. Do what we can.
Hektak ya wa ea. Ha, kakoma. On kata ke e paso. O chamita ke pelena lehan washteshni. Na lakoli yank tekchin. Ash 20 lakolishni. Mas opie lehan ta he washichu chankinkte. Pawa ya ihan ta washichu ya. Ea paha. 20 lakoli apshni hena. Hoyin khan unja glega oyate ki watik tahi. Hecha hal atensh o kichu se tanka. Hecha vice president wa iakina Navajo wogalakishni. Hecha wo pheki Navajo ya hate chela washi lohakte. Nis Pawa princess insha hina chai habla. Ho hina wi chai khab Navajo wogalakapshni hatash yon chakapshni. Isha onkish a hechunk umshni pjechchi. Elila washichu yana ata lila lakota na you pipia wogalaka. Poetic. Us men, we talk poetic today, but we never take action. Dakwe he chahe. We chashonji ishnale naji hanta na shohe hunkishni. Hohe treaty o minichi hedlilo ta minicha na wanale Supreme Court in a Congress iktanupa kigalumki. We chalap. Hohe han o minichi han wiya ya wo phewa hi na ya. Heha tukteni le treaty le gloa bunkokipshno ya. Oe wanjila hake heki he World Court of Justice iktuyana. Ho United States of America genocide he awichunka haktel. Heche glushtam. Ho lilo nachwashte. Wakanki heche wiyukstam. Dan wiyukstam. Le omanichi iangwa catch ata itkoi chapche. Ho yunkan tuwa hechunkta he ya. Lecha Mario Gonzalez in I could do that eh. Washichia. La kolia manu chabash. Yunka ayuta na. Uncle Oliver hele tropche. You made over $1 million from the tribal council fighting for the Black Hills. You never won a single case. You're the only one who got $1 million. Rest of us were still here waiting for the Black Hills. Cha unichimchne. Kishiche Mario Gonzalez said. Oa kankan yechin kala kaspapi juke washichu thachi. Ho chamario heha umuchimshne. He glushtan. Heha omprabopishne. Ho chahet khokata kya. Eha ke lekshini unlaw ha. Dako makyake. Na omaniche hel. Le treaty dawet ronjinya hishne. Sha yuha lel hipshne pchechchi. Ogena hena we tell you tuk jagwashte. Lelonji hi kulu chasheta. Yechin kala hi. Isha hechela hina hina oyena ohumshne. Na tiata gla na lela kota gleche tu kapelo na iuechela chimshne. As oitha chankap. Ata ona chakinyan kane a hechegla. Isamtagani chaho kishne. Hochaleche techala keta. Yes, we chunkach ni na hina computer no spevanta ho. Ogna he treaty he yukinim na takun yechi tubo keep seche. He chamo ha Uncle Oliver we echi peha ha. He specially. Na Floyd Han he kachni rab he specially. Na lecha Vincent Blackfeather. O chatakun you stamp charge he yaza lil oigoi chakin na la you homom. Hochayat hokata kya mitake pe he chawanchim. Na he omniche wel tohaka takwan yustam. Chief Red Cloud is gonna be the last chief of the Great Sioux Nation. And how there gonna be no more chief. If you think about it, a chief, you have a chief of police, you have a chief accountant, a chief surgeon, or there's a chief fireman. So a chief, he has a board and a CEO that he works for. He's usually third or fourth on that totem pole down. So when the Lakota, we say, I'm a chief, hunter, you don't speak for the Lakota. You have bosses, it's a hierarchy. As no chaki le na tiwahe ki hiwita nashna, ho ye duahe kachni rapchan wapchaha ye in unkicha. Tiosh paye ki echa no chahe na uchagalach nichal. Unke oyate kejashne. Lahang Pine Ridge Reservation le 114 chiefs with chunha. Na tohani oyate woichak upshne. Ata otiachin chief hecha. Let TV organization chapas of after wakam yakablich. Chai chief red cloud hair. Me a hake mo paper chief de lo ha chief wani chakte. Hena tiosh ba ki kiwita na ye hena wichagalach ni hak de lo O he lu eche tuk de lo aoma pasi. O chale chief hene you ha wapcha hena wichak kikte. Leha 5 horses bounty for Chief Stevens' bonnet. He first one wa kicked it. Then I'm gonna start down the line, one at a time. These chiefs haven't done nothing for us. They never will, because they're not on top. They're below. Chahinaya chawana unkisha tiwaheki kiwita na tiosh pa imahel yechinkala itchat shayawi chayohab. Hohena yewi chakyana hohewa shicha panka yakte. One person cannot represent the great Sioux nation. You could only represent your blood. That's all you can do. And you bring all the Najas together, they represent all the blood, they're whole. Then we're going to go someplace. As long as we live this way, we're not going to go no place. And there's a lot of mention about blood quantum. 145 years ago, treaty hit 145 years ago. Everybody was full force. Lakota was standard. It wasn't a high standard, it was a regular. Everybody spoke Lakota. We done a scientific formula, we calculate it. Every 50 years we lose a quarter blood. So you take 50 years from 145, 95 years ago, 3/4 was dominant, the blood. Take another 50 years. 45 years ago, half, lilash akab. Everybody was half. Today, as we stand here, 1/4 is dominant. Me personally, I can't discriminate against a system that was forced on us. We can't ban people because they're less than 1/4. We have to be Lakota. And we have to all believe in our blood. That blood quantum is a federal law. If you believe in that, you're sellout. You believe in federal law, you're not representing us as Lakota. I hope I don't hurt everyone's feelings here. I've been busy like this for a long time. So, these are my experiences. So I want to talk about it. Now let's have many jamhanta muyan ki tu kiab her. We chashaga keum kitchen kalawayan kona let you come. Let on tagni chachin teshni. We are in a wob helena yawana yon kavanta ho unuchetukte. Matriarchal hechel tahonia kinship system ki he echa ogina unku. Washichu ya unyujinam astona kel heche nahchi wo yuk hechel unkaham. Ochamitake pia lila dagni washteshni lila ota. Yes lechele printe daku gas washteshni lo. Ho ash we chasagle unkechinkala. Wo yuk chunkahana leche wongla kokte. Nogna chunteksi unkich abash wat chunzekeshni ha. Heche tolo inch ya lelo gnalo. Na 20 chunzekinteshni Oldchla okicha kokte. Ne hani doke wichon hina lehan hechelen kumoko kipshne. Hocha lehan lechala owe eta unkiukchana ho hina echa. Lelo gnon kiayokte, lelo gnokte lo. Wa 20 wopche awankeshni cha lehan tita kye ena kchiuzab. Inbred. Chokata mewi muchachchalaki. Henova oholak de selip jechti wa kajala takojalak u. Ish amabhakte wa amamanukte. Ohomalakdishni henani himiche lehan. Hochale duekas itchachin glahanta wobche unjun karan hena yuha la kholia hanta ichela hena yewichun yakte. Helogna wobche unjun karan matema shila. No chik Allah. O ash auto keepshni. No kohunch la kolya bash hina boarding school in auto shungich bircha. Hena washichu, we tell you washichu knechtin. As to hala washichu ab hejela spiritual cap. Why washichu wila ota, o magle no spiritual cap shnicha. Glina ata lelun kegna, lilich ilan ata wa kankha. Ye wa ea, wa chante yishicha. Ho hena yewichun kiana yopkhechas ne onshiwichun lockdown hecha. Hena ahani chunksaya shwakan ka unashna. We can quag with Chayana, Awi Chayana. O I am Ethiopia, Yohana, Timiavichana, Oitgura. Is Ahina Chimchni Ka, Washitun Gehechum. O Chahe Ohina Oshi, which Chunki locked down Hetcha. O Chala Tako Ota, Mish a power chairs, Yalelum Gota. Shamish Ayawakaha, Pina, Ya Ewigina Kintacha. Yale Nomechi Humpilina, you have Opila, Ichicha Pelo. Ho Hetchetu, Pilamaya Pelo.
היה משאדים.
Hiu kena wo pile chicha pelo. Ya kele Mario kichana organish takun usuk tana chetu. Ijle tantro kata ka toshke ohia poheta uyuto chok tana chetu. Hoya mashele onigla ka kiacha. Ja, chik ala soa hena omega la kikta. As ota la kote abshne. Oya kachne rapcha. Ja washitria wa la kikta. Ja you gana kel hoat khayar. Emichik to japo. What I just said was, I said good afternoon, everyone that is here. Hopefully we'll make a change. Hopefully things will be a little bit different from what we've been living. And my friend Dave, see, he changes with the season. The reason why I said that is I grew up with him. Back out in the hills while we were running around playing cowboys and Indians, he adopted me as a brother. And as we were getting older, then at one time he became my brother-in-law. And now he's my friend. He changes with the season. At one time, we were made headsmen at this Porcupine powwow, Labor Day powwow they had. And we never thought then, well, I never thought. I wasn't shooting for anything. I was just helping out the people. In the winter time, we helped them out with propane. We started a little program. We pay their light bill. If we can always scheme around for food boxes. We give it to the people. And we never thought that, well, I never thought I don't know, probably selected for a headsman down at this powwow. And then him and I start talking one day. I said, I'm not a fool, blood. So why did they select me as a headman? We sat down, looked into it, and headsman, you have to think about the people. You have to help the people. And I think that's the reason why we were selected as one. And he said, we're gonna talk about where we come from. I never thought about my dad told me, but I forgot his name. I should have wrote it down, I would say. But the Lakota people, we have an oral history. We never write anything down. At one time, I was taking college courses, and then I think it was Lakota history that I was reading and I had to fight with my instructor. I said, that's not the way I was told. This is how it happened. Finally, the instructor probably got tired of me. He said, Mr. Iron Boy, please just learn what you read. So I said, that's not the oral history that I was told. But as you start writing the oral history, writing it out, we kind of brag a little bit to make it sound interesting. And just like a book, you make it sound interesting for you to keep on reading. And that's how things are changing. We try to tell what we know, what our grandparents taught us. But as we start writing it out, we have to make it sound interesting for you to keep on reading. I think that's how life is. Anyway, what I learned about my history was my grandparents, there were 8 brothers. There were 8 brothers, and when they were first made this reservation, the missionaries went around asking for an English name. Well, my great-great-grandfather, all he knew was Jacob. So he named all his boys Jacob. So they went around, they went back, and pretty soon they came back, and we won't be able to identify your boys with just Jacob. We have to find another name. So our last names were the Lakota names they translate into English, and that's where the Iron Boy came from. By the way, my name is Harvey Iron Boy. My Lakota name is Hekakawaka. Hekakawaka was given to me after I humbled a child. So anyway, that's where this Iron Boy came from. And how this Iron Boy came from was my grandfather, when they were young men, they went on a hunting party and they couldn't find no wildlife, no meat or anything. While they were going around, they were confronted by some enemy. So the rest of the hunters, they took off, but my grandfather, he had a staff, so a spear, a lance. He stuck it in the ground and stood his ground, wrapped a rope around his waist. And at that time, they don't kill the enemy. They just counted coups. So he counted coups on all of them, and one of the hunters was sitting up on a hill watching him. And they went back to the camp. He told them what my grandfather did. So that's where he received his name, Hokshilamonza, Iron Boy. Then there was my dad, and he was an Iron Boy. And then I came along and I'm an Iron Boy. And when my dad came along, how I became not a full-blood was, I guess back in time, on this, when they first made this reservation, I think it was a Louisiana Purchase. The Frenchmen bought this reservation, and I guess they lied to each other back then. They wanted all the Lakota men that they're having a meeting over there So they all gathered and they went over there. Well, they were over there looking for the meeting. The Frenchmen went and raped all our women folks. And that's where my grandmother was born. And when my dad married my mother, she wasn't a full blood. And that's where we came from. So I told my friend Dave about my little history background. He said, well, look at it this way, he said. According to Conking Bear's ruling, he said, you're a full blood. So at one time, I was happy that I was a full blood, according to Conking Bear's ruling. While I was growing up, I had light brown hair, light skin. So when I played with my Lakota friends, they all called me a half-breed. When I played with my half-breed friends, they all called me a Lakota, dumb Indian they call me. So finally I got tired of it, and while I was a young man, I moved into the city. I was working over there. And the white men, they don't classify us in anything. They just call us dumb Indians. So I grew up with that. I defended my dumb Indian. I beat up a lot of white men out there. I thought I was a big man out there. When I came back on a reservation to make a life for myself, and it all changed. And it was a struggle. We were all classified, and they still we were classified. Right now, the councilmen, they have a name. I don't think you guys want to hear it. We have a name out there while we're struggling out here, trying to make a life for ourselves, make a life for the Lakota people, Lakota relatives. We have to hustle, scheme. At one time, I became a disabled person, and I thought that life was going to be easy. We get a monthly income, we pay bills and nothing more. And it's more of a struggle than it was being a life easy. And one time I married my wife, and my mother-in-law said, my friend Dave got me into this. One time I went to his house and he showed me some papers. I got interested in it. 1868 treaty. I started reading about it, and man, to me I thought that was good news. That was something else. One time I went to my mother-in-law's place. I was telling them what we talked about, what I learned. And she said, are you into that now? When I was a little girl, my grandparents talked about this treaty. And then my uncle talked about this treaty. My dad talked about this treaty. Pretty soon my brother talked about this treaty. And now you're talking about it. I hope, hopefully, one of these days you guys will make a difference and make that change that we all talked about. And I thought about it, and it seems like every meeting I go to, things were said, nothing's been done. We still live a life. We're struggling on this reservation, the Lakota people. The way it seems like the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. So one time I talked to Moshe Dave. Oh, Moshe means friend, by the way. in case you might think it's a German word or something. So anyway, we talked about it, and he said one of these days I'm going to call a meeting and we're going to follow through. And I was waiting for that meeting. Pretty soon my waistline is getting smaller. I have to change my pant size. I said, when are we going to make that change? I'm getting smaller. Well, the change will be coming pretty soon. So this morning they were serving donuts, so I ate a whole bunch. Hopefully, I think that's what he was talking about. So anyway, hopefully, like everybody's saying, our Lakota people, the Lakota language is getting scarce. Well, we try to talk to our grandkids. Sometimes they make it into slang words, our Lakota language. So I classify it as a traditional Lakota language and a modern Lakota language. The modern Lakota language is where the young ones, the teenagers, young adults, they classify the Lakota language, modern Lakota language. Some of the words aren't even put into our dictionaries. We have a dictionary that was made by the missionaries in 1969. So I look at, trying to find the words on some of the Lakota words. There's nothing in there. So one time, me and Moshe, we talked about everything. I went to his place, and I don't know, some of the Lakota words I think we made up, but it made sense. So we started using those. And we always talk about the change. Things will happen. I don't know how long this is going to take, this change that's coming. What I'm looking forward is this coming winter for our Lakota Oyate again. It's going to be a cold winter. They're going to be in need of propane and our light bill. Hopefully, if you try to scheme for some money for us, remember them. Ask to scheme some money for our propane money for our Lakota people. I'm thinking about this coming. A lot of us get an income, but it's scarcely enough to get by on. We don't have extra money to go shopping at Walmart or Kmart or anywhere else. We pay our bills and wait for our checks to come in the next month. And hopefully this will make a little bit difference. And I know there's a lot I want to talk about, but like what my chief Alex is talking about, saying, I know there's a lot of us and we all want to put a little bit, 2 cents worth in, I always call it. So hopefully, gathering all this information, something will be done at least. I went to a lot of treaty meetings and everything, but the meeting, and I don't know if there was even a follow-up. I never heard of anything else after that. But thank you for listening. Us Lakota people, we're really humorous people, descend. We put a little bit of a little humor in everything we say. I always say this, I always talk about this, tell this. We were always they always classified as drunken Indians. You look into cartoons, there's a Lakota man with braids on with a wine ball, laying there passed out drunk, and all that stuff. But I heard this one time about a cousin that was on a radio station, and I thought that was pretty neat, so I always talk about this every time I always talk anywhere. There was a time when our astronauts, they went into the moon, the first astronaut that went to the moon. He put up his American flag, and man, he was just proud of it. He saluted that American, stepped back, saluted it, and there's a big rock there. Now he thought he seen something went around the corner. And he was walking over there, looked behind the rock, and there was an empty wine bottle laying there. Picked it up and shook his hand. Said, "Damn, Indians are everywhere." Thank you for listening to me. Wopilai shalom itakoyase.
Ohea kalagala yelo hekku iso kanssita kone.
Oya pilama ja pitona ja hiuna. Vanna voptana kaaki hena. Ja paunka legena kaapia majapi. Kwambali hochpi etan wahi. Neale otroka communitele onaho ha. Taku shagia unskonk takap chahan heoncha wahi. Na le iktia wagala kachinsni na ja 20 blashichni ash. Tokis transi takun troktai chungkung takechami. Na lila enana hianing ata ma kiu khalapi. Na taku echale omniche kile shagia un ja otremsni hechi mai rapcha hiale. Mijans le otro kana kajna khumkhe. Ash lila wichota upchimkha. Champha oyanke ktakhoata hechata ma kiu khalap. Hela khoto omniche ktaechi shagia la otrayonk takha yapi. Hunale le ampetu kitokinsh takun shagia un shkampik tezalecha. Takun trokcha itohun kyak takechame. Nachti tueni hene vogala keshne. Le Oyate ya mo 80 ans ahi. Takun trokcha wan kap chimpi. Tokins le tuechti wawa on spojilel una. Taku eon kagleni wa oak takechame ash hechetushne. Le wapi mo haipi owa. Tokins le omniche kileta wapi waji un karapina. Le itrachan trankaki un kichopik takechame. Ash taganishne. Le Lilash agia le nakerti oyate hiota kabanta wash aketranka bombalake. Otro kale omnichaji ele chelwa in kholila la khota ota hiota kab. Talila yomo kipi. Ho ash tagani chungkung teshni zalecha. Kapitan la hema kahukuliema. Na 20 blashi cheshni ash in shechum zali bombalake. Le lila ota 3D mo ivogala kabash 3D tagani yopshni seshni ivogala kab. Metuchtika miglani hashni ash. Le transhi chela 3D mo ohie. Ta me ash no hina blaoni ha. 20 3D 31 ohie karishni. Na taku malilash agya helianke ash 20 vogala kachinshni. Le 3D galechin la khota giche la trapi. Transhi he pazo. Ye transhi 3D he yo akinaji na wo hi kare. 20 yoni hashni. Tueni shana pawankal useshni. Na ipachjasna ivogalakama. As mechuchika he soachanke. Hehani takugleni wa albelezina oakachni gata. Ik hoop gegalashn ik tamenin ak chinajinka. As lehan oaki. Ja kujakel wa oash. Mehe woichala kibeluha. Le treaty iwogalaka kilena kunupa. Original 68 treaty he ashnangila kinajimanta. Jest khanshi ichon. He oncha wohi ekare. Na lehan treaty wa lele shwajibeluha. As he washichuki yutrokjama. He oncha tueni wohi ekaro kishne. Lakota shnihanta. Lakota ichela okipi. Igluicha khabante ichela okipi. Na lechechti omni chelo ajila leshla yomakpi okshak chivatwancha. Wanchachti lakota ota lechel yotakam. Hocha takon shagyakel letan unshkam kokip kechame. Ashta komni lesh htaleha e iwongalakam. Unkiepi cha nun kokip ash. Ikcha wongalakam ngelo ashteshni. Ta komni chunkung taecha. Ihani takwa namachon kihe. Lakhota khchakechi echa wapi wajika gamanta. Nagluhaki najimanta le lila washaki ay kwakingta. Takon wohi e karabokim. As lehanchi tribal council wa treaty pikyana lila shagashna hotreimpi. As tagnish wohi e karabshni. Okipshni cha yanke. Washichug yesoliapi. Hena lakhota gichela thapi. Cha lakhota khchawaji treaty e yaina jinatan techik soliak takyab washichuki. Hocha le ampetu ki tokinsh takun hechel ichunkung tezalecha heoncha wahi. Ashtueni blashicheshni yupipi awogalakap tuika. Lelesh hokshilan kuvichasha taihi. Na ijan hechel woyukchan yuha. Tokinsh ampetu le Omnice le tanta kunsh agay chunkung tezalecha e. Cha inshe hechum zel he wagala ka chintranshi. Na tueni blashicheshni. Ash le tanta kunsh agay chunkung kokib ash chunkung teshni zalecha. Takun shagya wapi oapin. Le nakechtiwa oigwa banta. Yao yamunkokib. Takun ushta munkokib.
They raised us right there. I didn't go to school. Later on, I taught myself how to read it. And later on in life, I got my GED. When I watch us in class, we need the aim boys to be police. I don't have police on Kaka. I don't know nothing about being police. I guess we look for trouble. You let Masha graduate. That's a little bit. I mean, I say, heta hewa belong, heta womos be, heta. Heta come the police up, you have to have a GED. Or heta you are here. Or heta up there, little college on you up there right now. Or the bars exam, let I could pass you. And so I chant a career exam walking. Or ask on, hello, Ganashni. White man makes all the laws on us just to keep us busy up here and make believe that he could tell us what to do, and he is doing a good job. I tell you that, good job. So we're if we're trying to be a white man, have to we're very, very poor imitation of that. Alaka. Really. Ushika. And he's professional at it because that's his way of life. Well, now, as you see, the territory, the treaty land covers Montana, North Dakota, Nebraska, all the way around here. Yankee, right there. Their president, Ulysses S. Grant, signed that. They took it away. And they ratified the treaty without knowing us. Treaty has to be signed with 2 languages. It has to be signed with 2 languages. As written language on each of us, an oral language. Why we have oral language? Because Grandpa and those guys, they never lied. If somebody lies, they ban him from the reservation. Or you're going to take an oath, Milo Iganakok. Nahal Wahinkapokina, Washo, Kahona, Wikon, Shunko Hasio, and Chanupo and Kaki. Or in a put Hakai or Chanupa use Yakamata. Aho. Who have put Hagala Snake on the Kiglock. So they have an oath. We have our own oath before this white man constitution or whatever. They have a rope right there, a knife, and a hoe, and a print of a horse. You have to touch those, then pick up the chanupa, and then speak the truth. So we have those before all this happening, all this happy. We have those. We have a government before this government. Enough. And today, they really want us to believe in their ways and make a fear. They made us fear of their laws, of their what they do. Just because, no, I'm not going to say land to the moon because they never did. That's all propaganda. They never went to the moon. They just made that film out there in Nevada Badlands and make us think they went to the moon. And that's the truth. Or not. I really hate to say that. I have no racial anything against the white people. It's the system that we're fighting. It's the system how they treat us. On a little one here, so reservation little states try to come in. Now we have this reservation left. Now pretty soon, if we don't do nothing here, they're going to make that into. They could have go to some graveyard and make it into national park. Actually, they're going to come here and do that. Hey, bottom line, it's still up here. Why don't you come to the They will tell us. They did many things to us. Need your opinion. What can we do to interfere? And we know what they're doing. We know what they are doing. They went office and they make a school loan $50 to Chaco. Why? $138 million Uncle Sam sent to the Indian reservations, and most of that given by the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and whatever left over IRA. Now our grandfathers are great warriors, and that blood is running inside of us. Now it's time that we do something. We had a meeting a few years back in one of the new building home. That's my brother was here. Eli was there. I can't do nothing. If people want to change, you have to do it. You don't need no attorney. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is camp number 344, and we're prisoners of war. Prove it now. If you read the treaty, the Indian surrender. Indian surrender. If you read the Indian surrender, what does that mean?
Crazy horse surrender.
Grandpa he said, we signed it for peace treaty. Later on when they read Indian surrender, apple hop. So that in their eyes they made us a prisoner of war, and we're the only ones that ever been held prisoners of war for more than 150 years. 150 years, I think that's enough. Geneva Ektaya, some of you. Council Kilini had no voice, Nija. All the Treaty Council Wakata Observatory Hetsi and copy. Hey, why? You like two like that. You know? Or so I believe, how do we do? You call first, you're under the custody, confinement of the United States of America. You have to be free from there first. Then two countries, allied countries, has to represent you, endorse you into here. Then you will have a voice. This one's a market.
Yeah, I think we can use this one too.
You cannot have no kind of future or no kind of career on this reservation. We rely upon programs. As I don't want to not guarantee what we can. Program when you learn machine program mask and so that I use them. Okay. He made so white man made so that we fight for the jobs. That's the way he likes it. Turn them against one another and keep them busy. That's the way they want it. They do it this way. You hear the Blackfeet relatives yesterday, you heard them. They have to pay for the waters. They have to pay for the DAKOTA tax. That we're gonna let him know this later. I think it's here. The sheriff went and escorted him right away.
Le Blackfeet la Shoshone que le tribal leaders senata tibi chabaton. Na hetridu on hoxila kinafrichab. Whereas le treaty que le interpret yeapis kislolapshne. Use yeapi yehapshne. Le na tribal council. What treaty ke ata seli kipshne. What's at that toda timate gonna capture Mazaphan and help up at Oklahoma keeps. Oh, hey, Nakuazi tribe Gihan at the Dakoki whole reservation the action of here in California. What's a nice city Chitskayana. The dumper HL Oneumski. The what dog taking her. Took any what I will give since a dumper and a tail. Which Ellen Hale Neumski. Holena today I found Hinaziunkele. Lakota Segalena Echelan Hitch I will keep. Hen in Lakota Sehata or Techikelo. He said what Chichakawats.
Johila. Had more you see Johila Hamna. Those kids from Kokta. Talk to Kokta. Or not to have to say Kokta. What are we going to do? How are we going to do? And when are we going to do it? That kicks me up. This year, every minute has count for that. Why? The gas money you have no gas money, your light bill, everything. While they're sitting up there with stacks and stacks of money. Your money. Get home. Over there. What I say, that's why, if you have any suggestion, it's easy. It's real easy for me to go by myself with all these boys and, be radical. And what about the rest of them? Those people that are holding those positions are relatives of mine too. Secretary, that secretary, multi-secretary, that's my niece, Rhonda. It's not about you guys, it's about the system. It's about the system. Dos kelele, it's a cook night. You Takuna opinion, watch there. It's good. We're not working there. We're gonna do it like that. It's not a one-man operation, it's us. We, Hogana, us and we. If we are to survive, to live on this land that was promised to us, which in my eyes, we really don't need their promise. It's just like coming into your house, your own house, and I'm going to tell you what to do. That's how they do it. That's what they're doing to us. See? And if you don't listen, I'm going to confine you into the closet in your own house. See? Israel na hechtje janke. Ablez up. Yellow sa takuno gna hey iya agalagal. Helia. Ogna sarol gila kapo. Hecha soni oktala. Lena hokte sakit solapsni.
Oh, and I bet you do. Ja, oglala tama hi. Hecha hokaita tios pa he motang. Na kota de aina ke apema. The tach behin abkhas dark comes out Edward himself. Hani akichi taw yamam. Oh, hoka vaya way. Na hagalustama Vietnam to why it's a job you can't get it's a blah kilet some spemon cap. Was he why glamon to the night did not die Ujumon time. It's some say all it does kick others go me glamon died. How actually why Vietnam to way not to pitch you the car takwa on block it the Kichi chuta kilele le haki ha mari kile mas shastet hechte is mit hunkut de hamle nice ait nili brukt da kwai pas tu lo ta het juona waglema akes ku wa na he noik dicht da kwai kha ta kuli lota no ja Dakota grunning ka situ we glam now gedacht Columbus here I had you are he go honey carpet bag right check out the Oregon Trail Hill cold cuz Ginasta le wai glam now still the US up na bank the banks quite that as me taku kokestu gunone ke he ma khochi Louisiana purchase ata ma khochi ka hoeglo na oi la yok ta ni hane ka Oyate na Oyate na Dakota Oyate na Oyate Yamanika. Dako SHAKOWIŋ igaloa pika na trokaki hema kochiki hema akan withholding cap. Tina paki he uitratsun. OCETI ŠAKOWIŋ na uitratsun na trapi hena. The whole education system I help was it. Hey, la kota ki unyu helping. Na hewan zi na kuzi ki he woyute. Na rata woyute yutagi hawa situ etau. Na rete makho ikitema na kolik ta woyute na mkumpi. Na zi ki he the water kinship. Na ikaw na kakoza endo na tas no kitchap ta kukitchap na 28 hakis. Na hakis ke yapi. Na kakoza ki ayuha wasitjap. Hata kote awonga. Kavele tela na eu kachni rapis na hegnoni kam. Honey 1700 was yet the north hecho ia kap topa. Yet gam khane bahai wale kaka. He wake up here chak lek up ki he don't SHAKOWIŋ ia ki kliuta ki hata ia pi ungnoni ungta kap. Kala hala SHAKOWIŋ kap. Tok hele hala ato na he tela glua pneo na ata tekti. Na hakesti ki hele resu chak kha. Ja, nee, hakker, die ongelha nu nauwzimpe. Dat kon werk op de ja pikele kuoki kap. The reservation, honey reservation, 1889, dat wogela kap. Pikele paha op de DAKOTA her, we chong kuhena, het zegt ja de reservation kara pikap. Kwaya kapik tale reservation yohila pahakile na iya kakap. Big Dipper unkata hela ihupaki yamani iya yamani. Hetukti iya kile na iya kakap pahakile. Na trosa North Star na Morning Star na Evening Star hekti na iya kiyan kakap. Tahina hotu kakap o altar. Hitsa ilwa chekap cha gataku ki ukihi kap. Tahe o de kota ya pikile nis DAKOTA ya pinain DAKOTA ya pinana ke ukiki chupi. Dagri gilwas akin ukihi kap. Na koza ki hane chatham chan tagnus la bokhloka phala pika nas na riki timahi ki na tu pikit lonu kap yetselon kitsa na tunglas kon national comp we are kai kan we are tunglas ka ke chukata pinhole on kara. Hele Babylon natanus nudla he ayat he karapi. Tata makai chone on kina koki he ta una ripi kinap kina chakpi chon Star World he chake kuni na kaitse chata hipi kap. Na woyute the teams lad. Na hewan SHAKOWIŋ kap da woite wa kankap na some khana chagana kana tinta putelina na khatsunte na khatse dona ka nawa khan the whole tuene hina petio la yuta some khake ka le han wani te hano ya kapi ka na oi la gyamsna wani chinkna ka Kala sekse usele. China taka kigolo ayo tiki he na oila kiktihensa. Hewan si SHAKOWIŋ tako chumpita kina. Na oit khatsa na na makoche ata na ku ungununi pita. Kobel apo ata makoche unki. The tribal government, the federal council, the federal council, tribal, federal council. Thanks to na yukta, I know, I hope that they'll walk that tranquil.
Tää on vaikala kapi. Yksi sama kai.
Public doctrine, public meeting organization. Lakota steki echale hot khapikta. Staka kelina. Grassroots haonkila. Today let's say this is the Vatican. Only the Vatican has a key to open this yoke of oppression from all citizens or human beings. You're under the system. Well, I got news for them. You're in Lakota country. The blood of the Lakota is sovereign. We never had this. We never did agree to this. What the Vatican is doing is a yoke of oppression similar to this. Putting around your neck. You can't get away from it. You're not sovereign. Fundamental public policy. In Lakota country, they did not ask the Chtaka to use this policy in the rule of law. Rule of law. Rule of law does not belong here in the Western Hemisphere. We do not agree, we do not consent. It's po facto ab initio, Pahelo. Null and void from the beginning. We never agreed or accepted. There's a language and culture barrier in place. If you want to speak to the elderly, the root of our nation, the men, come and tell them in their Lakota way, the thought, physical, spiritual cognizance of Lakota. This is what the system is up against. They do not have authority and jurisdiction to do what they're doing. This is Mother Earth. This is not real property. This belongs to the Lakota. Today the policy they're bringing, taking away originality. No, you can never take away the blood. You can make policy concerning mind, body, and spirit, but the blood, you forgot. This is Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, Bazaze. OCETI ŠAKOWIŋ, the original. When you use the federal to make this into artificial being, caricaturization of a real being without consent, you violated the original law. The creator law, the blood. But we see this happening, and I just seen a document and I was disappointed because I myself cannot sign this document. I see it as flawed. Oh, if you're going to represent the people, Lakota, designated leaders of the great Lakota nation in the states of South and North Dakota, what happened to the flag?
We, the headmen of each of the 7 tribes of the Lakota Nation tribes, belong to the Roman Empire. We are bands. Oyate. Humbly request immediate counsel with you here in our ancestral homeland. The dire circumstances where people are then compelled us to call for your presence at the reading of original 7 council where in the Porcupine reservation represent the people of the Malala, Rosebud, Oak, Standing Rock, Shine River, Exton, each listed upon the United States Federal Register official list of federally recognized tribes. No, I cannot go along with that because what the federal is doing by policy today, we eliminated this federal system. Bringing in the United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People to make us under the state jurisdiction, which they can't. We do not agree. We have a treaty, legal binding document between 2 sovereign nations. As a hereditary chief and headman, I say no to this. These are wrong. Executive order from June 26, if you read that, it lifted all acts made against the people, which made this reservation in 1889. What happened to the sanctuary of the federal Indian? They just took that away from you also. Property right. So this is something that we have to really look at this and understand before we sign on anything. Lakota Saroni Guapanta Tohane, the British Empire ke hiuna linani chibo kipshin. Wekielo. Oyuksita linombalakanta. We are the linear descendants of original signatory of the 1851 Treaty, 1868 Fort Lemon Treaty. Patrilineal is a must to be Lakota. But today we prove that. You see the chief and headman here. How are you going to tell them in their language what you're doing? You're taking away all they have by your fundamental public policy. We are not the public. Lakota below. The tribal member, they're taking away our sovereignty. Every liberty, freedom, right we have, God-given, they're using this artificial, federally recognized tribal member to steal our way of life. This is something they have no jurisdiction and authority over. Land, air, water, our way of life. Lakota, the blood. There is many that are claiming Lakota, but they are not. How long is this madness, this insanity going to continue? No. The laws that they have do not belong here. It's por facto ab initio, null and void from the beginning. They don't belong here. We have our own. You took away our original. Now you're imposing again upon a sovereign people with your law, rule of law, that don't belong here. Federal, state, tribe, county, tribe, municipal. Today you see that. Person, nobody, nothing. Resident tenant of the states created. So it's amazing how the people are in a stupor, and if you're going to be a part of that system, don't do nothing. Go along. How are you going to pay your tax? Do you have a PhD? Doctorate degree? Because if you don't, you are a failure, flunky, useless eater, bottom feeder. You are going to be in prison because you are money. You are a product of the British Empire and the Vatican. Citizen. But today I look at this and I thought we were going to do something good, but Federal Indian got in the way again. You see that happening. Lineal descent is a U.S. citizen. Nobody, nothing. So I'm going to ask my chief and headband to really look at this good before they put their signature on there. Watch there. Something good must be done, but we cannot capitulate to their law. You cannot commingle original and the British Empire, Vatican rule. Those are different. Completely different. This is the reason why we have a treaty, peace treaty, They wanted peace, and we agreed. Look what they're doing. They're stealing everything we have, even our identity. So we go to indigenous identity, but here it's Lakota identity theft. Lakota identity theft. What did they give you when they said you're this man here? They gave me a card. I didn't know about all this stuff happening. They told my mom and dad, you have to do this to get money. Oh, they got us a social security card. You have to have this. This is a tribal ID card. You're a member of this Oglala Sioux tribe. A great Sioux nation. Okay, they didn't know, so they had agreed for me. Involuntary subjugated shareholder, stakeholder of a corporation of the federal government. Today that's over. We're under state rule now. So we're going to have to really look at this, and we might even have to go on a hill to pray about this. Our young ones, not Lakota today, they're citizens of the state. Our babies, Kakoja, unborn coming, are product of the state property. I have a nephew here, Dakota, that went to the state. He's working for the tribe. He went to the state to get money for his program. It was amazing what they told him. Government. What is that called? Government Performance Reporting Act. Dakota. Government Performance Reporting Act. But this is where if you're going to get money, you're going to be under the system. There is no sovereignty, there is no liberty, there is no freedom. Just like the adhesion contract of this government. You cannot claim man, woman, liberty, or real property. They forgot. This is not real property. This is our Mother Earth. Oh, how are we going to fight the system? Simple. They don't belong here. The wall they talk about in front of us is not there unless if you let it. That's the federal government. So today I'm looking for this great man called Barack Obama. If he is the President of the United States of America, I have a treaty with him. He needs to come up and step and talk to me. Our chief and headmen are the ones that made this agreement. The blood of the great chiefs, headmen that signed this treaty are still here. These are not property. They're not the real, original, intrinsic being. Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, Mazaze. So I stand here before you and tell everybody, no, we are not federal Indians. That is something you do not want to be. I have an excerpt here from their system, and I will read to you. The rule of law. Final solution to property tax up. Tena bashitu kiwan kana tuktogana chupun khuyuta gni kteshin kogana yuya. Makhoche kile. Ale court le niga kine makhoche kile chat khab kya narim. Aina heche tushin. Avoy khake. Adhesion contract. A contract so heavily restricted on one party, U.S. citizen, while non-restrictive of the other, the government, that doubts arise as to the voluntary nature of the contract, take it or leave it basis. Weaker party has no realistic choice as to its terms of adhesion contract. That's your identity. Take it or leave it. Entire taxing and monetary system are hereby placed under the Uniform Commercial Code, Federal Tax Lien Act of 1966. These are not ours. If you sell your land, you cannot stay here. Unless the Michael Little Boy he sold his land, bought a trailer house, and tried to move it on his land, and here they told him he can't. It does not belong to him anymore. I had a statement of Chikha. This is something really big here. And then I want to impose that because the law they made, a person other than 443 of Indian blood is a U.S. citizen. Oh, lineal descent. we're going in towards their system if we accept this. My lineal descent is Matioshpaye. Chiwahe. I am hereditary chief and head. Very honorable to sit with the old ones. You talk to them, you acquire their knowledge of the way it is, and then you try to put into perspective using the English language, which is criminal. It's not the same. Nothing will ever be the same. All completely different meaning. Talewana government harassment, quote this case up, Heifer versus Mello, Title 18, United States Code, Section 241. Should your officials continue to harass you, you might quote the following Supreme Court decision that held under Title 42, United States Code, Section 1983, suits every person who, under color of law, any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of any state subjects or causes to be subjected any citizen of the United States or other person within the jurisdiction thereof to the deprivation of any right, privilege, or immunity secured by the Constitution and laws shall be liable to the party injured below. You might want to quote Title 18 up. United States Code Section 241 up. To them also. Don't use Section 242. Because that section is for federal citizens under federal jurisdiction, and that is something you don't want to be. You want sovereign jurisdiction of common law, king law, ecclesiastical law, maritime law, braided into one that they already thought about everything, mind, body, and spirit. They have no jurisdiction and authority because we have the blood of the old one. The mighty chief that took on this government brought it down to his knees. Wasted them, little bighorns. Today we're praying for that. We are very, very poor because of this monetary system. They made us a domestic dependent nation under the federal system. And it's hard to not agree to it because everything is money, based on money. Under this paper that you wrote for us. A sovereign, Dakota, sovereignty, they do not want to see sovereignty because if we stand up as a nation, Dakota, federal government don't belong here. Federal corporation, under the state. So it's federal, state, tribe, county, tribe, municipal. We see it happening on this reservation north of Sharp. White man owned land, building property, houses, taking and using Indian money to develop that. As soon as it's developed, he's going to sell it to somebody else. Millionaire. Using what? Did we agree to that? No. Is he Lakota? Not. This tribal system does not belong here. They lifted all acts made against our people June 26th. Order lineal Chabijub. Okay, the lineal descendancy turned into state property. State property. Oh, what did the governor of South Dakota say when he was talking? South Dakota is a great product to sell. Their product. Name and number. You owe money to them. They're not human. These are things we have to see. We have to be wise or wiser than them. How are we going to do that? Believe in you. Knowledge of the white man is going to be bestowed upon us. Hey, we're tribal members. I got a card that says I'm a Indian. Oh, Indian now, Indian is a monster that could walk and dwell on this earth but cannot own it. Look in old dictionary. Original dictionary. English law. You will find that there. So I'm proud to be an Indian after. You cannot survive in this system if you use it. Hey, hey, we got to go to Tribal College, Dakota College. They're going to teach us our language. Because the dictionary made by the Jesuit. Ata we nuchta lang papot ka picture kahwana. Papuza, hanging papuza abukak. Kaina yake. Makaru after MAGAJU, Makaru to rain up a loy. I break down it, Hubretosh Ketano. Many Umunka cookies. I'm better to get on a mac like a can, I can believe it, chink the loche. Until then, Toyokshita, again, we have to stay away from this so-called constitution. Don't start up. Hey, we got a constitution. We got to do this. Those are all trusts of the empire, Vatican. That's Hareki. I had business, my Yuki had casket company. This is what the empire wants. Because of depopulation, we want some caskets there. Georgia caskets got up. Coffin, plastic coffin to hold 4 bodies. Get ready for depopulation. Organic shackles up. Hooked up, we want millions. How many Americans are going to be incarcerated? Depopulation program. Alina 21 question. Lenach Jiwakinta. You are textil up Snahi Naziashna. Kaleta, Kakata, Lehetashin, Kanakoitashin. As deeper than that, there's a bigger fight. Tyranny up. They have brought tyranny upon all people by their system, their policy. I have one look of that I have Chimpsons I have the citizenship at Ashagahiganaka. Adhesion contract, it's all a Shablawa. Heavily lopsided. You either take it or leave it. Today Malake. State ID card Luhakte, state driver license to travel on these roads. I have it all. Liability. Kitchen kanka Luhata liability driver license Luhata till registering. I my spot. A treaty and Balhato Witalkake. Alehale challenge the jurisdiction authority of the state because the treaty predates the state. Hell, wow, the Malakota. Judge Virginia decision mita vocation. Inaepi, hereditary chief and headman is the Supreme Court of our nation. I will Malako. United States Supreme Court SCOTUS up. What happened to America? The A is gone from SCOTUS. And they're dependent upon the system created by the empire to function. You're a terrorist. To be detained indefinitely without due process. Terrorism. It's here now. If you're a dissenter, anti-government, red pickup list and blue pickup list, the most serious of terrorism is going to be detained indefinitely without due process. In there, they're going to kill us. A little black vitahina, Pukiaba. Help Moshe Naitizi, Bernardine Arrow top it up. Government can go against that. Today, Blackfeet, their treaty was nullified, terminated. The tribal council in Glacier County took over the reservation. Just today, Oglala Lakota County, state jurisdiction authority. Aleles Kinship ake. State troopers ahi umbelikta. Takaba. Investigation. Tale khahiachti upelo. Don't try to look at the mother's corniche. No more funding, federal funding for the federal jurisdiction and authority of the federal tribe. I have an akonhinazim. I don't home kicked up state jurisdiction. There is no such thing as concurrent jurisdiction. There's not. Because those are all individual and different. From one entity to the other, flesh and blood, indigenous or Lakota. If you do not consent, they cannot do what they're doing. I'm taking too long of your time. Thank you for listening. Notice of sale of securities pursuant to Regulation D, Section 406 under Washington D. Uniform Limited Offering Exemption Act. United States Security and Exchange Commission. Oglala Sioux Tribe, Pioneer Indian Reservation, South Dakota, on tribal government. Actual or estimated date of incorporation or organization, jurisdiction of incorporation or organization, month 01, year 1936. Under jurisdiction of incorporation or organization of South Dakota, 1936, tribe list, South Dakota jurisdiction, tribal council bond illegal and unlawful. They're not legal to put up a bond under the state United States Security Exchange Commission. I not only Lakota Kiuchak option. Ever since the incorporation, they call it time immemorial. Time immemorial, 1934. IRA, Wheeler Howard Act. I have social contract. It was not to continue the Lakota way of life, but to end it. Social contract. To run for 50 years now. In 1984, you have already patients a 25-year extension. That's mentioned in the Cobell Historical Accounting, 1887 to September 29, 2009. In 1984, 25 years Lawanta has backup. Discreetly designed to terminate, turn this monster into a U.S. citizen, educated. Daddy. Simple. Ele wana smart monster to yank on the lunka. Alright, film it. Every day I look at these issues. How are my people gonna survive? Winter's coming. How are we gonna survive without a job, without education? Like a Bureau of Indian Education, but you're going to prove you're Indian. We never were Indian in the first place. Indian is a monster that could walk and dwell on this earth but cannot own it. That's a use them. Today they educated a monster with their education, claims it as intellectual property. Either way, property. Intellectual. I won't spend each other, I won't spend the hunk tax. You're a U.S. citizen. How are we going to defend against this system? I'm going to cut it short here for now and thank you for listening.
That includes some of the unresolved treaty issues to this very day. treaty kile it remains unresolved. Ivogalak up different levels. Some of our relatives, the Shahila, these other nations, teams that maybe they wanted to be here, voice their opinions. Domestic injustices here. What is modern day America, United States of America. Veritas, truth, in Latin, the truth. The truth. James Locke, he's somewhere. Hail it up, the Toganakit, Hachonoko, some Atkoki, blonde horn, short horn, and some Honkoki, Janice, no. Taku washte lila hoyatrepe, iwaglak. Which is Lakota killer wikigni, Taku ikigni. Rightfully so. Takomani Hechetu. I think we have a right to be angry. Hello, Gana. Every right. Wopila, Ichijam, Yoila.
I want to hear you $1 can value Nietzsche. There's no value in a dollar anymore. Once they made it into a person of no soul. I want to when Amero is ready to be implemented, along with the president agrees. I want to hear you North American Union. It don't matter who you are. Like a 1264 Indian Hanitas, you're a U.S. citizen. Hey, you. This is coming, long coming. Nobody defended us. Last days that we found out. Is it too late? Why ain't it? Don't when? Everybody's asleep, blindfolded by the system. The system don't belong to us. There's certain few that are trying to claim fame. Hey, what kind of fame? Only a fool. I had high hopes coming here and doing what needs to be done. Rise, nation, original, OCETI ŠAKOWIŋ. The blood is the one that's Lakota. When I was a chat when I was 92% of this Oglala Sioux tribe is not Lakota. Maya, Lakota, okay, Lewak. Today on Lakantanus, you go to Pine Ridge, you're going to see what? They describe them. Offspring of the pedophile, squawman, Calvary, clergy. These are not Lakota, these are not white. Treaty is a legal binding document between two sovereign nations affirmed April 28, 2009, just recently. But is it too late? 5-year plan, running short now. They invested a lot of money for the Lakota. Lakota 2015, 2005 have matured yet. That money they put in account. $258 billion. In 10 years, when you claim this, it's going to go to the UN. It's going to go to 13 or 18 poor nations. I thought we were poor. There's 258 metric tons of gold was in storage. The value today, countless. Railroad money, we're poor. Here, we have nothing. Yet the railroad money back in 2000 was $14.5 quintillion. The name of the Pueblo, Dakota. But those things that are there, we have to have a role, Pueblo role, Dakota. And this is the reason why I wanted the Vice President of Black Hills Sioux Nation Treaty Council here to tell the people what he knows concerning this sequestration, ending of the federal dollars for these tribes, doing good faith. He is going through the problem today because his tribe was hit hard, and it's going to springboard to the other tribes. There's a lot of issues here. Eagle Butte, Shine River, was annexed by the state. Whenever they made it into a township, state. State ki U.S. Hey, this is treaty land. The state don't belong here. Oh, they took that away because everybody that should be defending us at the Kagalun, they looked the other way. I'm somebody. Today that's somebody, nobody, just another person. What we're up against today is the British Empire. Taken away. Your identity, indigenous identity, us is Lakota, our way of life. It's going to be difficult, what we're trying to do. There's very few Pueblo Lakota today. Approximately 180 Pueblo here on this reservation, patrilineal descent. Matriarchal, there's many. That's the state citizen. But this system ended the Indian problem when Louis Cobell beat them in their court in over 80 trial. Over 80 trial, this is called gross misconduct. Imagine each and every Native American, American Indian, federally recognized tribal member taking on the same thing. Government's going to be broke. They won't have no money. That's why they made a class action. When they did that, we refused and object. We filed a special appearance. We waited for the Walala Sioux tribe to defend us, but they couldn't. Instead, they received money, underhanded. So I noticed the attorneys in the Cobell. You don't represent us without a written agreement. We do not give our consent for you to represent us. For real. I want to hear you originality. Are you real or are you artificial? So originality, you heard a lot of men talking about originality. Are you going to be able to prove it? We're there now. You're going to prove your Lakota if you know there's serious consequences. This is the state of South Dakota, the governor. Point out to the tribal members that are trying to make us stand against the system. So now the proof is, how are they going to prove themselves? Oyoksitalo, mitita pepe. Dohan, unkaki pokta takumu ukile. Mukhoche kena unki trukta. Concentration camp Yahuelo, 10 in United States. Constitution there on the nature is keeps one as you talk doctor. They're gonna change the constitution, then there we have a treaty. It's gonna be nullified by the North American Union. That's a plan, New World Order. How are we gonna defend against that? They're making all kinds of laws. That's how we'll National Defense Authorization Act that one you get. you'll be labeled a terrorist if you go against the government. To be detained indefinitely without due process. And did you guys know 2013, United States of America Sovereignty Restoration Act, they kicked out the United Nations. They pulled away from the United Nations after the implementation of the UN drip on the people. The United States is not a party to the United Nations. If you see those, how could they bring about state jurisdiction, public law 280 expansion, 638 contract, and then pull away? Federal. Federal is no more. No more federal. Bureau of Indian Affairs going to walk. Well, who's going to take care of us? What happened to the promises they made in perpetuity? What is perpetuity? Perpetuity to them, perpetuity started in 1934, time immemorial. You always hear it on the radio when they have a tribal council meeting. Since time immemorial. Those are Washitu children. Time immemorial. How are we going to do this? We all have to come together, Abash. We know there are 22 factions. 22 factions. How many are patrilineal descent? Very few. Those are the ones we're looking for. I alone took on this federal government without the help of the tribe or the treaty councils. We brought this treaty issue up. Out versus USA. One couple computer. April 28, 2009 is affirmed. Nobody don't want to see that. Just like it said, jealousy. Everybody is jealous. Why? Something bad happened to my daughter. That's the reason why we took on the system. And we did. We brought the treaty up. Treaty was affirmed. Well, I'm waiting here looking. I thought there's Lakota wrong. It's sad. Because Consensus Reality Affordable Care Act took that away. Little individual. You are going to prove you're Lakota. If you don't, you're going to buy healthcare insurance. Sweetly designed and engineered by this crown. This crown, downtown London, the corporate lawyers want your tax money. For far too long, the federal Indian had a loophole, hiding, getting away from taxation. But they engineered it, and today, Affordable Care Act, individual, you're going to prove you're Lakota. If you can't, you're a taxpayer. IRS is standing ready. Oh, taxpayer, it goes to your land. We're going to assess you individually. Today we're at that juncture now. IRS. IRS has no business in a treaty territory. That's where I stand. These policies do not apply to my Lakota people. Language and culture barrier in place. My people do not understand your way. What are you doing here? You're free under the United States of America. They never had a right to the soil. So many laws you made that you violated them. What is the rule of law? You violate the law, you will be deported. Or immigration. That's what this system is scared of. But they've made they made themselves immune to their law. Judges, lawyers, bankers and priests, they're all the same. When are you going to understand? When are you going to wake up and help me stand against the system? Instead of going along to get along or trying to function within the dysfunction. It's not working. If it's not working, if a program is not working, it must end. Obama, 2007. That's what he said. And here, these tribes are business councils, they're not nation. Program is not working, let's liquidate. For tribal member, it's nobody, nothing. It's a product of the empire, Vatican. You and I are nobody, nothing. We have a name and number. I've been involuntarily subjugated. And I bring that issue up continuously. This affects every living, breathing man and woman. How could they say you're not a man and woman? Oh, how are you going to prove that? Put your pants down and show them? This is what the system is doing to the people of the Western Hemisphere. Alila Shagyahu, what they're doing, oil, gold, coal, gas, timber. World currency, world economy, I know what's out China, America, British Empire. We are part of this global economy. Our Lakota are educated. They want kapchimshin. How many Fublat are educated in their system? How many? They're scared of that. Once they teach you their way, you could take advantage, prove them wrong, and take over. They're pretty smart. Opaspa we choose up. How much Alehan Walaka Matanas? I thought Kazaki Kilahinazim. Well, Michinta 7. Oxila Topan Lechita Layaman. Letala Sakonji, a registered nurse, South Dakota certified. I'm proud of her, I'm proud of my family. They're not dumb, they're not stupid. Look around, they're not Lakota anymore. We're the last called Lakota, you and I. In the Cobalt, they made it to where this individual Indian money account is going to be stopped. We're the last. It's going to transition over to state. We've seen this. We look at this every day, wondering what's coming next. It's a never-ending crisis created by this system. So there is no life in pursuit of happiness. American dream. We're not American. We never were part of that dream. Thief them, everything they've done. Mamanu, thief them. When is it going to stop? Who's going to spank them for violating their own law? They tell us the Pope changed the 10 Commandments. Oh, the sacred document. How could he? He made the 11th commandment. This happened July 6th. He took away the 4th and the 7th commandment because homosexuality, adultery, the raising of the children in this system by homos or lesbians, man to man, woman to woman, married couple. They took that away, and then they made a 11th commandment God told him to. And that was taking selfies, the abomination unto the Lord. So right now they're choosing it in stone in the Vatican. St. Peter's Square, that they're going to have a mass, they're going to show the stone. They changed the commandment. Oh, there is no more immorality issue. That's what they're hiding behind. GMO. GMO, you're not going to consume GMO food, but it goes deeper than that. The hybrid or federally recognized artificial certificate degree of Indian blood, person other than 4/4, hybrid half-breed, hybrid, GMO. GMO. Hinala code option. There's a big issue. What are we going to do? This wall that's placed in front of us, how are we going to go around this? Well, to begin with, that wall don't belong there in our nation. Ispo facto ab initio. Your law. Null and void from the beginning. It never did apply here. You did not ask us and we did not consent. That's where I stand on these issues. State of South Dakota is going to be nullified by the treaty. The states mentioned in the treaty territory are illegal. I'm bringing that up. September 14th, I'm going to court because I challenge the jurisdiction authority of the state. Simple issue, driver license and insurance. These should have been dealt with when they made these laws. These tribes should have said no. But they wanted a casino. Casino, they agreed to the state jurisdiction. With this, how are these tribal people, person other than the force, going to say no to this jurisdiction authority coming? Well, they done them bad, using us in our land. 501c3, I want here. Again, this is senators in Congress using 501c3 to make money in the guidelines 4, 5, 6, 501c3, 4, 5, and 6. This is where they gave the dollar bill. Freedom of speech right, and there's no more. Freedom of speech. I have person, just like the Galala tribal member. Person of no soul. Corporate person. Nothing, nobody. Product.
Their voice is nothing to us that stand and proclaim what our grandfathers did for us to make us proud and strong. And so we've started with this. I relocated, or whatever you want to call it, and I read, and I kind of got into this their way of life and learned the white man. You know, I wasn't from I never went to Wakani, Africa, but we're a direct bloodline to them. But we're just separated. They went across the border to hunt, and when they built that border, they were left on the other side. They wouldn't allow them back down. So they just stayed there. We traveled with the Crows. Marcella, she danced over there in Crow at the Sundance. It's called Spearside. I guess it's a representation of when Jesus was stabbed in the side and of his death or whatever, and that blood, cleansed our people. And so we've took it upon ourselves to visit every tribe and let them know there's still people active out there. And we're still being asked to come out and have our speeches. Like these things, this microphone, it has moved our nation. It has spoke for us against all of the state officials, all of these people who have are there to take. And when we get together, we pray usually in some fashion. We thank our Lord, we thank our Creator, we thank, God Almighty, or whoever we call upon to help us through this battle. We put him in front. We don't put individual in the lead. We put our holiness, in front of us to help us walk through this. So this is why this our overturning of different governments, and we're exposing a lot of our leaders that stole millions without consent. They just get these program money or whatever they get. They don't use it for our people. They use it for just their own families. And so that's where a lot of us that are not of that family or choose not to be of that family, that's why we suffer winter after winter, because we have never opposed them. And when we have come before other nations and voiced what has been going on, there has been a lot of support. You know, more as we travel, we're going to have the support that we need, because with our positive of who we are, we're going to win. You know, even to be here, I mean, it's my first time ever visited here, but my one stepfather was a red tomahawk, and he left us property of the Sioux. But I said the Sioux, they need that property more than me, so I signed whatever I own back to the Sioux and let them, they live in Sioux country so they can use it to their advantage. And so we have a lot of connections with different Sioux brothers and sisters. I don't know all the families, but there was a big list of families that were on that list of land and property. So I didn't even question. It's just the Sioux deserve this land. You know, we live up here, so it brings strength to their stand. And so, as far as you know, what we're about and where we're going, you know, it's a mystery, but it's not a mystery, I guess, because we don't know the game that they have set up against us. But we know that with our spirituality, that we can overcome whatever obstacles they put in front of us. And we feel that as a brotherhood, or however you want to call it, that we have a prophecy that goes with our tribe, that you know, in the end, that those people will not be in charge of us, or they will have no say over us. But we do have to have a unity. We do probably have to have a ceremony of some type to bring us together, that everybody can participate freely and openly, because we have ceremony people that are getting more and more involved with our ceremony. So that's the only direction that I can see that us as a people will have to have a real strong gathering of people and pray together. Kanya.
Hi.